Show 91 of A Victim Bites Back. And thank you for all your numerous comments on the last episode. An astonishingly large amount for funny, trivial, different little things, such as one of the tracks I played you, one of my 60s songs called Grass is Good, Grass is Groovy, one of the anti-drug songs I had out. I had quite a few of them. I was the only person really in the music scene in the middle 60s who wasn't taking drugs, into drugs, experimenting with LSD and all the various other things that are around. It just wasn't for me. When I was about 18 or so, I realised I was in two worlds that both of whom tended to like drugs. The university world, which of course was thoroughly into experimenting and in favour of drugs, and also loved a lot of jazz music, which was big into drugs, and the music world, which had just come through the whole thing. So most of my friends were doing drugs, or even just smoking or drinking, which I wasn't doing either of either, because I had to think about it when I was up at Cambridge in my first year at university, Trinity College, and I thought, no, hang on a moment, I don't think this is for me. I want to see the world and experience of the world, which has got so many delights and so many joys, in a way that is not influenced by strange substances, especially narcotic ones. But I could get high without having to drink. I could get myself feeling fantastic without having to smoke cigarettes or hashish or grass. So that's when I wrote, amongst other tracks, Grass is Good, Grass is Groovy, which was a very sarcastic and cynical look about me talking to both drug addicts and various assorted cows. Oh, it looks like I've got to park. There was an article in the Sunday Times at the weekend saying that the whole of Europe and beyond is really beginning to suffer from too many tourists. Locals are hating it, and it's absolutely ruining the place. Sorry about that interruption. I got beeped and told to move, even though I was parked perfectly safely and securely. So way back in the 60s, I made up my mind that they weren't for me. All the clubs used to know this and all used to have in their fridges bottles of ice cold milk for me, for Jonathan King when he came into the club, marked with little labels. And I happily drank milk, which is always found very, very conducive to good digestion and nice taste. Most of my friends, in fact all of my friends, completely accepted that. I didn't tell them they ought not to be doing any of these things. I just said, no, it's not my thing. You're quite entitled to do whatever you want, but this is not for me. And it was quite interesting to notice that whilst many of them did continue and took the drugs and did drinking and smoking and all sorts of other things, sadly now most of them are dead. As I once sang, round, round, out of your mind, you think you're doing things, I know you're blind.
Round, round, out of your mind, you think you're seeing things, I know you're blind. A million bright colours explode in your head. Today you're just high, tomorrow you're dead. Round, 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 round. Giggle like whitewash and laugh at the wall. The prancing Pied Piper is not there at all. Have a gay time and get large when you're small. You're doing it cause you enjoy it. Bounce around happily, float in the air. Ride along skyways, paint stars with your hair. Don't be perturbed if the world dares to stare. You're doing it cause you enjoy it. Round, round, out of your mind. You think you're seeing things, I know you're blind. A million bright colours explode in your head. Today you're just high, tomorrow you're dead. Round, 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 round. is weak and they'll kick you back strong. You're up in the clouds, just where you don't belong, and you're doing it 'cause you enjoy it. Round, round, out of your mind. You think you're seeing things, I know you're blind. A million bright colors explode in your head. Today you're just high, tomorrow you're dead. Round, 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 round.
Noticed if you visit certain other sites like Twitter, we like to call it X, and Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of these other sites, that I've come under a lot of flack recently after talking about the Jay Slater tragedy. You remember he was the young lad who fell off a path in the Canaries and was killed. And it took a month to find his body. Well, the reason I've been commenting is not about that tragedy, which is awful. He was only 19, for God's sakes, but about the involvement of the vile, atrocious, appalling Mark Williams Thomas. This man used to be, ages ago, a very junior constable in Surrey Police. For some reason, and I suspect they booted him out, he left Surrey Police, but only after having started the investigation into me back in the year 2000, when Surrey Police was approached by a liar. I could say that because in court recently he was proven to be a liar, making false allegations against me, which started the whole thing that led to my trial and conviction in 2001. That man was called Kirk McIntyre. He is now, I gather, virtually a vegetable, having suffered a number of near-fatal strokes, and is incapable of any speech or hearing or understanding or anything, and has been a vegetable now for many years. But Mark Williams Thomas went to speak to him, and obviously when this whole thing began in the year 2000, with Kirk making a false allegation, prompted to do so by his friend Max Clifford, the public relations officer, who was very keen to get me somehow stopped from becoming the overall global chairman of EMI Records, which I had been offered and was about to accept, at the sum of £5 million a year. Anyway, Mark Williams Thomas went on to get booted out of Surrey Police, got involved in a scandal that in which he was accused, I think, of being a blackmailer for a firm of burial people, funeral people, which, by the way, he was found innocent on all charges. I think that's worth mentioning. But he went on to attempt to get attention and attribution to all the cases that went on, including mine after I was tried and convicted long after he left Surrey Police. And indeed, in my trial in 2018, documents emerged about my about the false allegations against me and my trial in 2001 that really condemned Mark Williams Thomas for the most disgraceful behaviour as a police officer and beyond. And that's one of the reasons I've watched his progress since with distaste and disgust. He was the one who exposed Jimmy Savile after his death, you notice, for interfering with young girls, which is, I think, absolutely untrue and completely wrong, but you can do it when someone's dead because they can't really sue you. And he made a fortune from that. He's now attached himself to the Jay Slater tragedy, going to the parents and family, I think. Everybody is saying, oh, he's made a fortune from that. I don't believe that at all. I don't think he's made a penny. I think he's done the linkage entirely at his own expense, simply because the most valuable thing in Mark Williams Thomas's book is publicity, because then he gets people quoting him as a source, which will get him further cases in the future. Now, most of the media now ignores him because they know the man is a charlatan and a chancer. However, two particular organisations have got contact with him, ITV and, of course, because of the Jimmy Savile thing, and the Mirror Group. And both of them keep publishing his rubbish and his stupid things. He was involved with that, commenting on that poor lady who went missing and found her fallen into a river. He always thought she was abducted and pushed that story. In this case, he always thinks that Jay Slater was the victim of a criminal gang dealing in drugs. They got involved probably in homosexuality, all sorts of things that were blatantly untrue, but that Mark Williams Thomas knew made a good story. How on earth can legitimate media publications like the Mirror and outlets like ITV ever use his name after all that's come out about him and his behaviour over the last few years? Mark Williams Thomas is essentially a charlatan, a chancer, a con man, a liar, and a cunt. Looking at America, my instincts are always democratic, rather as in Britain they tend to be rather left-wing socially, although fairly right-wing economically. I actually believe in capitalism, but responsible capitalism, with those who succeed looking after those who cannot cope. But in America, it does seem to me that Joe Biden must resign very, very quickly and must be replaced by a younger, vibrant, more enthusiastic candidate who can beat Donald Trump. And I would say and urge whoever it is to say that the moment they are elected president, they will pardon Donald Trump for all the earlier allegations against him, that they feel the attacks on him for trivial and stupid reasons were wrong and unfair, and as a result, he pardons the former president from all of them. He or she pardons them. That's, I think, the way things have got to go. Looking at Great Britain, I'm really delighted by a lot of things that Labour are doing. The appointment of Timpson as the boss of prisons is a really, really good move. Removing the stupid Rwanda thing is another really good move. Getting back closer to Europe is a really good move. Obviously, we can't rejoin the EU. That would be equally stupid as it was leaving it in the first place. But I think Brexit can be done much better now.
All the world is full of love and sunshine, and the skies above are fair. I'll sing a song for happy people from everywhere. This is the song for happy people from everywhere. say goodbye to bombs and terror, to all the hatred and despair. Let's sing a song for happy people from everywhere. This is a song for happy people from everywhere. For everyone who's sad or lonely, there is a child who has love to share. He'll sing a song for happy people from everywhere. This is a song for happy people from everywhere. I will dance on the street corners, and I will smile when the people stare. I'll sing a song for happy people from everywhere. This is a song for happy people from everywhere. All you stars who sing of sorrow, let me sing out that I care. I'll sing a song for happy people from everywhere. This is a song for happy people from
When I was younger, I used to think I probably wasn't that good a songwriter or a singer, certainly not a singer, but managed to get where I got because I was very good at promoting things and coming up with ideas, with arrangement ideas, and that's what pulled me through and made me sell actually 40 million vinyl records as a singer. Many more, of course, as a producer of people like Genesis, the Bay City Rollers and so on. But listening to my tracks now, I actually think I was very good, very different, very interesting. Nobody else was writing the sort of songs I wrote, the sort of lyrics I wrote back in the 60s, and really never since. I've got my own little niche, and it's not just with songs, it's with behaviour. I always seem to be way ahead of everything else, even in being prosecuted, persecuted and convicted for false allegations made against me. It's happening now to everybody, but back in the 60s it was unheard of. And of course I wasn't actually prosecuted until the year 2000, but even that was 20 years before it became the norm for any celebrity, or indeed anybody who had a few quid, to have false allegations made against them. Still to this day, I'm making these interesting films and TV shows which don't seem to be particularly catching on, but do start something. I remember when I began it, and I thought it was a great idea, with the film Vile Pervert the Musical, starring 28 brilliant actors and actresses, and I thought it was an original and clever idea, and indeed so did people who then went on to found companies like Netflix, which basically took my idea and made it work in a commercial fashion. Being commercial has never really interested me. I just wanted to be original and different and good. It may be that I owe Mark Williams Thomas an apology. It's perfectly possible that without me or anybody else knowing, he volunteers to assist people who are connected to missing people, and helps them without charging them a penny, simply for the good of their soul and his soul, and basically gets no publicity from it at all. You must decide. Just went for a coffee in an outdoor cafe, in which I was able to park my little car right next to it. I was interested to see 8 separate people take photographs of the car. Normally, in a similar amount of time, and in fact sitting in the cafe, 4 different people came up and took my photograph solely because of the cap that I wear, which they find highly amusing, different and interesting. So that means basically that little car has twice as many admirers as I have. I can't say whether that's true or false because, of course, normally I'm not sitting nearby watching the car and I'm just out and about. And I have to tell you, I do get approached by literally dozens of people every day about my hat. What a pointless episode of A Victim Bites Back this has been. Please stick with it. See you next time.